Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of MIT App Inventor. So your MIT App Inventor tutor, Ijoma. So today is our week 8. This is our week 8 video. And in today's class, we are going to be creating an application named Recipe Book App. Alright, so let's dive into it. So what we are creating, we'll build an app that lets you save, view, manage recipes using MIT App Inventor. So goal of the project, we're going to learn how to store data permanently using TinyDB. We're going to learn how to build an app that can save recipes with ingredients and steps. We're going to learn how to display saved recipe in a list for easy viewing. And then what you're going to learn in today's class. So in today's class, firstly, you'll learn data storage, that's TinyDB, list and list view, event handling, which is button.click, that's in our block editor. And the next one now is importance of the app we are going to create. So this app helps user organize cooking ideas and save multiple recipes like a personal cookbook. And then it teaches you real life app storage concepts. So project kickoff. Now we'll be deviating. We'll be heading on to MIT App Inventor to create the app. Let me show you how to. So we'll be doing it together, right? So this is the interface of our application, as you can see on my screen. You see, this is the title, this is the text box, the text box, the text box. This is a label. And then this is the list view. And finally, we have our, this is also a label. After that, we have a TinyDB, which is a non-visible component right here. So the block editors, here's the blocks we'll be arranging. All right, so now we're going to create a new project. So which name are we going to give this project? A recipe book app. Right, so new project, click on new project and then recipe recipe application. All right, so let's wait for it to save up. Okay, there you go. Now we have a new page, right? Now let's start. So of course we're going to use an image for this. So I'll go on and search for an image I can use. Right, can you see we have so many can you see? So I can decide to use this one. This have a colorful loop, so I will just save it to my computer and then import it to my project. Well, I'll just have to save image as. Okay, so let's go back to MIT App Inventor to see if we have it there. Food background. All right, now click here, background image. So none, upload file, choose a file, and it opened up my file. All right, here is the image I just saved to my computer. I'll open it. And this is right here. Okay. All right. It's coming up. Now, can you see the image is right here, and our screen is looking beautiful and colorful already. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to get, okay, let's align the screen. Center, horizontal center. That's okay. So now we're going to drag a label onto the screen. And then this label, we'll rename it. We're going to name it My Recipe App. That's your title. My Recipe. Sorry. My Recipe App. And there you go. So you check for boldness, font bold, check. And then font size. Let's give it a 25 and see if it's going to be okay. 25. All right, 25 is not bad, but let's make it 30 to make it bolder. 30. Okay. So now we're going to give it a background color. Let's change the background color of the label instead. Let's change the background color of the label. Background color white. All right. Like this. Not bad. Okay. So now the next thing we'll be doing is to drag another label. This label will be for space. Okay, so we're going to clear the text in between. Clear the text of the label 2. We don't need it here. So now this is going to separate the title from the body of the project. So now the next thing we'll be dragging on is a text box. Okay, here's our text box. So the text box, we're going to rename it to recipe name text box. Okay. And now for the hint, we're giving it a hint. The hint will be enter recipe name. Enter recipe, and then we'll make the color gray or white. Let's give it the hint color should be white. It's in default now, so let's change it to white. Save. And the next thing we'll be doing now is to drag another text box onto the stage, onto our screen, right? Okay, so we're going to rename this to ingredients text box. So now we're going to name this ingredient text box. Okay, the hint to enter ingredients color. This color should be black, and then we're going to give it width of 50% and height of 50%. Let's see. Okay, I think it's longer, so we're going to reduce the height 20. This is okay, right? So the next thing we'll be doing now is to drag another text box. So now we're going to change this text to step text box. And then okay. Now the hint should be enter cooking steps. Alright. And color. Hint color should be black. And then the width should be 50%. And the height should be 25%. 25%. And that is it. So now the next thing we'll be doing is to get a button. Okay, we'll be placing a button here, which is going to be our save button, right? So this save button, the color should be yellow. Let's give it a background color of yellow. This one. And then save. So the text should be save recipe. Save recipe. Okay, check for boldness. Font boldness checked. And font size 25. Okay, and then the shape of the button should be rounded. Stretch your legs. Rounded. Stand up. And that is it. Okay, we can also make the button fill parent. The width should be fill parent. This way, right? So now the next thing we'll be doing now is to change the name of the button, rename it to save button. Save button this way. And then okay. So the next thing we're dragging now is the list view. So let's get our list view here, drag it and place it under the button, right this way. And then we are going to change the color to gray. Change the background color of this to gray. A lighter gray actually. And then for the text color should be black. Text color black. And then see. That's it. For list view, the height should be automatic, and then the width should be automatic as well. Now the next thing we'll be doing is to rename this list view to recipe list view. Recipe list view. Then okay. And that's it. So the next thing we'll be dragging on is another label. So let's get another label. Drag it and place it right here. Okay. And then the text should be this is literally a design process. Select a recipe to view details. Capitalize all the text this way, and then make this white or black is okay. Then font bold, check for font boldness, and then size should be 20. Okay, this way. And then the next thing we'll be adding here is we're going to rename this label to the recipe details label. Recipe detail. Okay, recipe detail label. Now the next thing we'll be adding is a non-visible component. So we're adding the TinyDB. Now we'll head on to our user interface and then search for storage and look for TinyDB is right here. So drag it and drop it anywhere on the screen. It's visible down here. You can see it on the screen. It should be under the screen, non-visible components. And we rename the TinyDB to recipe TinyDB recipe. This way. And that is it. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to head on to our block editor to start coding, of course. So the first thing we'll be doing now is to locate our save button. Then get when save button dot click, drag it out, drop it here. So the next thing we'll be getting now is go to TinyDB and look for all TinyDB.store value. This one here. Place it inside here. And the next thing we'll be doing is to go to your text and get an empty text box. Then type in recipe here. Plug it in the socket of tag and type in recipe. This way. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to go to our list and search for make a list block. Then plug it in the value to store here. Now we're going to make a list. So you go to recipe, the text box for recipe, which is this, and then you search for recipe name text dot text, this one right here. Plug it here, and the next thing we'll be looking for is ingredients. Click on ingredients and drag the same block. Ingredients text box dot text is right here. Then plug it in the second socket. Now we need one more socket here, so we're going to create it because we only have 2 sockets on the make a list block. So click here on this icon and add an extra item to it this way, and that's it. Another socket has been created successfully. So now head on to step text box and search for step text box dot text. Position it here in this socket, and there you go. So now the next thing we'll be doing now is to go to our list view, which is recipe list view. Click on it and then search for recipe list view dot element. Set recipe list view dot element 2, then position it here. Okay, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to go to TinyDB, then search for call tinydb.getValue, just one, then position it here. Okay, and then inside here you're going to type in recipe. So this block, drag it out and position it inside the tag this way, and now go to your list and look for create empty list block. And position it here, and the value tag not there, socket, and there you go. So now the next thing we'll be doing now is to go to our list view, the recipe list view, and when recipe list view dot after picking, choose it, position it under the first block arrangement, and go to your recipe details label. Recipe detail label, this one here, and search set recipe detail label dot text to this block right here, drag it out, position it inside this one, and go to list and search for select list item list, this one here, drag and drop it right here on the socket. Okay, now go to your TinyDB and search for get value, this one, drag, position it in the first socket here in the select list item list. All right, and type in recipe here again, recipe, there you go. So drag this block and position it here. All right, so the next thing you'll be doing now is to create empty list. So you can as well duplicate this one, duplicate, and instead of going back to drag out the block all over, you can actually duplicate. All right, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to add another block here. So the block we'll be adding there is recipe, go to your list view, select selection index, recipe list view dot selection index. All right, it's right here. So you're dragging this one out, and then you position it right here. And now it's time to run our project and see what we have done so far. Okay, so we'll be running this with the AI companion. You should have it on your phone. So open your MIT AI companion in your phone, and then click here on your system, scan QR code, and then you scan. It's connecting now. Let's wait for it to connect so we can. All right, as you can see, a project is right here on my phone. All right, so we have my recipe app as our header, exactly how we have it here on the screen. Then enter recipe name. So we're going to change this to black so it will be visible since the background is brighter. If you're having white, you have to look deeper before you see the white up there. So let's change the color to black. Now click on your recipe name, go to the hint color, and change this to black. You see, I've already changed on my phone. So enter recipe. This is where you'll be entering the name of the recipe. Let's say we want to make pancake. So I'll be entering pancake here. Then enter ingredients. I'm going to be entering the ingredients I will need for my pancake. So I need 1 cup of flour. Then secondly, I need 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Then comma, I need 2 tablespoons of sugar. I also need a pinch of salt. Then I need 1 cup of milk, and then I need 1 egg. I also need 3 tablespoons of oil or melted butter. Oil or melted butter. That's it for my ingredients. So now to enter cooking steps. So here's my cooking steps. Mix dry ingredients in a bowl. Comma. Add wet ingredient. So the dry ingredient should be your flour, sugar, salt, baking powder. Then for the wet one should be your egg, milk, I know. Okay. So wet ingredient, add wet ingredient and stir until smooth. And stir until smooth. Until smooth. Alright. That's until it becomes smooth. So the next thing is heat pan over medium, comma, and then pour the batter. Then the next thing is to wait for the bubbles, then you flip. Now you're already making your pancakes on fire. Wait until you see bubbles. And flip. Then you flip the other part of the pancake. And then cook other side until golden, then serve hot. Then serve hot. Whoa. And that is it. So now I have all this here and all this here. I'm done typing. So now I have to save. Alright, so I'm going to click on save recipe. You see, I just saved now, and everything I saved is right here in my list view. So TinyDB is going to automatically save this for me. So anytime I want to go through the steps on how I can make a pancake, I can always visit this application. So all you have to do now is to download it, because we are done creating it and it's ready to be downloaded. Right, you see all the things we typed out, they are right here. See, so we can also make our screen scrollable, so you can scroll through what you've created. So go to screen 1 and then scroll down. You see scrollable here, tick for scrollable, and you see, now you can scroll. That is it for today's class. I believe by now you've known how to create your own recipe application, recipe app, where you can save recipes of new meal you've learned. Maybe you learn something new, you can decide to just jot it instead of writing it out. You can use your app to save it to your phone. Okay, so I'll see you in our next class. Bye for now.